Today's animal world, our co-inhabitants, will be presented in Luganda with subtitles in Arabic, Farsi, or Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Luganda, Malay, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and Thai. Balamusizza nnyo abatulaba abalungi era tubaaniriza mu nsi y'ebisolo ebitonde binnafu. Olwaleero katukyaleko mu bwaguuga bwa Uganda World Education Center. Eyatandikibwawo mu 1952 efuuse emu ku bifo eby'ekitiibwa ebiyigiriza enkuuma y'ebisolo n'ebirime eby'enjawulo mu Africa. Eriri okumpi n'ennyanja Nalubaale oba Victoria emanyifu ennyo. Ekitongole ekyo kimanyisa bannayuganda n'ensi yonna ku makula n'ekitiibwa eky'ebitonde eby'omu nsiko eby'omu Uganda nga mwe muli okutaasa n'okujjanjaba ebisolo ebifunye ebisago n'ebimulekwa wamu n'ebyo ebiba byawambibwa mu ngeri emenya amateeka. Mwami James Musinguzi akulira ekitongole ekyo yavunaanyizibwa okuluŋŋamizibwa kwakyo.
It is very important that we teach about the conservation of the biodiversity in Uganda because of the various uses and aspects that biodiversity helps us with. For example, you know that biodiversity acts as food, medicine for animals and plants. Biodiversity gives us livelihoods. For example, when you talk about tourism, is an industry that is fast growing in Uganda, and it is biodiversity-based tourism. Therefore, it is very important for us to preserve biodiversity in order to help the people with their livelihoods and to continue and maintain the balancing of the ecosystem so that we can prevent problems like global warming, climate change. So we need to preserve the biodiversity in order to preserve and maintain a stable ecosystem and environment.
Ekitongole ekyo kimanyi obukulu obw'okutuuka eri ab'omulembe omuto kuba be bakulembeze b'enkya era nga be balibeera abakuumi b'obutonde obutwetoolodde.
We work as a practical center in Uganda where children come from all schools in the country to learn about what we do. What they learn in class is theory, so they come here to acquire the practical aspect. And we also, of course, run both on-site programs here at the center, and we also go out through what we call schools and community conservation education program, through an outreach program. So we do our programs here, and we also go out and educate the schools and the communities, because some communities and schools are not able to come here because of financial problems. So we go and take the message out there with conservation education materials, documentaries, videos, and even live animals.
Ekitongole kya njawulo mu ngeri nti kirina embeera z'okutaasaamu obutonde zonna ezisinga obukulu ezisangibwa mu Uganda.
We have recreated the 5 ecosystems of Uganda. We have the savanna, we have the forest, we have the wetland, we have the lake, and all this you can get here. We even have the mountain in the forest.
Ensiko yebunye mu kitundu ekisinga obunene eky'omutala guno era erimu ebisolo gamba nga entugga, tulege n'engabi. Entobazi ziweza kumpi ebitundu 13 ku 10 ebya Uganda yonna era ebitonde eby'omu ntobazi ebisangibwa mu kitongole kino mwe muli ebinyonyi, embalasaasa, ensonzi n'ebirala. Ebimu ku bibeera mu kibira mu kitongole kino bye bino: ebisode, amazike n'enkima. Ebisolo tebiggalirwa mu biyumba era birekebwa ne byetaaya nga bwe byandibadde mu nsiko.
We try to make sure that the animals are within a natural environment. What we have tried is to mimic what is in the wild, what is in the national park. So when you come here, you will not see cages. You will see animals free ranging in their natural environment, and that gives us a plus and a distinction. When we are treating animals here, we take a lot of care for them. We want them to mimic and live life that is in the wild, so that they don't appear to be isolated and in captive environment.
Ekitongole kifaayo nnyo ku bisolo byakyo era kirina ebintu ebyetaagisa n'obuweereza ebikozesebwa okwekakasa nti ebisolo ebyo biri mu bulamu bulungi era nga bya ssanyu.
You have quite a number of facilities. As you have seen, we have a lot of exhibits where we keep our animals. In addition to exhibits, we have what we call holding areas where we keep our animals, especially at night. And then, as you will see, we have got an animal hospital where we have a lot of machinery in terms of X-ray machines that we use to operate on our animals. It is a fully-fledged animal hospital with a lot of drugs. We have a food store there, as you've seen. We have a cold room where we keep our animals' food. We have a workshop there where we fabricate our own materials in terms of animal crates, animal feeding troughs. Then we have accommodation within the center where our keepers and animal caregivers stay on site, because this is a 24-hour job.
I work as a vet, Uganda Wildlife Education Center. If an animal is not extremely hurt, we register it in our books. Then after that, we go take its weight. After taking its weight, we do an examination, thorough examination. Then we put it here at the vet unit for quarantine. But usually if a bird, for example, a chimpanzee comes in with a fractured arm or limb, then immediately we intervene and give fluids and other emergency drugs to stabilize the animal.
I'm Nandutsu Jennifer, working as animal caregiver. I love animals, actually, all animals. I just like wild animals, yeah. And I feel so happy that I'm working with them right now. I accomplished my dream of working with wild animals. With the chimps, they are 98% like human beings, so they are intelligent. They can understand what you're doing and they can understand what you're telling them to do.
We are now entering the quarantine section of the veterinary hospital. So you're welcome. So behind me you can see we have two baby chimps. They were rescued from some island in Kalanga. They've been here since last year in October. This is Mr. Tim and Mr. Kasumba. So they are the lovely animals we have here, the very interesting animals. And the main problem with chimpanzee is people are capturing them to use them for medicinal purposes. They are using them to eat the meat. They are also using them in their hotel facility. They think they will get visitors. But all being done, they don't have permission to do that. They don't have licenses. So they are doing everything legally. So if we learn of such a scenario, we capture the animals. They are around 2 years old and they are doing fine. You can see they are playing, they are happy. So we'll keep them here for a while before we can integrate them to the big group which is out there on the island. They are very intelligent, they are very playful also, and we love them. On top of what we do, we bring about awareness that these animals are very important for our environment. These animals are very important and we have to protect them. Let's not eat them. Let's not kill them. Chimpanzees always live in a group, in a big family. So in order to get a baby, you must have done something bad to the mom and dad. So in the process, you get the baby. That's how bad it is. This is the marabou stork, the crested crane, which is a national crane. They are injured sometimes they are hit by vehicles. If they are brought here, we take them to the small surgery, they do surgery, then we release them. They can't go back now outside because they can't fly, these three. So we look after them. So here we have another bird. This one had an injury, serious injury of the bone. It broke. So he was just in hospital yesterday. He's very wild. He's a marabou stock. So they did surgery on him yesterday and is now resting. It was a complete fracture of the femur. So they put a pin inside and some sacrilege wires, and the surgery was successful. We hope after some time he will be able to walk and maybe fly one day and go back. The marabou stock is a very special bird in Uganda because it clears waste. They are very good in maintaining the hygiene of the environment. The biggest problem here is rescuing animals from people's farms, homes, because people are doing agriculture in wetlands. So they have invaded the homes for animals. So the animals don't have homes anymore. The snakes, the pythons are the #1 rescue animals. So when we bring them here, we rehabilitate them, and then after some time we release them into the national parks. So because of the environment degradation, the invasion of areas where they are not supposed to do farming, like wetlands and so on, a lot of animals, birds and reptiles are losing their habitat. We are doing the intervention when we receive them here and we take them back. But in the long term, the education process with the other colleagues is to tell people what they shouldn't be doing. They shouldn't be cutting trees. They shouldn't be going in wetlands. They shouldn't be invading lands where they are not supposed to do agriculture. They should learn that the animals have a right to live. The animals are good for us.
Mwami James Musingusi n'abakozi ba wano ku Uganda World Education Center benyumiriza mu ekyo kyemukoze eri ebitonde bya Uganda, era mweyongere okuwonya obulamu obw'ebisolo ebirala bingi n'okufuna obuwanguzi mu kusaasaanya obubaka obukwata ku mugaso gw'okulabirira ebitonde eby'enjawulo.
Ebisingako awo ku Uganda Wildlife Education Center mubikebere ku mukutu www.uwec.ug. Bambiraba ensi y'ebisolo bitonde binnaffe ku Lwokunanga 16 Juni okumaliriza pulogulaamu yaffe ey'ebitundu ebibiri ku kitundu.
Abalabi baffe abakkakkamu tubaaniriza okutwegattako olwaleero ku nsi y'ebisolo ebitonde binnaffe. Ensi yaffe ejjuzibwe n'ebikolwa eby'obusaasizi n'okutonda eggulu ku nsi. Humble viewers, we thank you for joining us today on Animal World, our core inhabitants. May our world be filled with compassionate deeds to create heaven on earth.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/AW.